let's talk about the end of the world and babies. Okay? Some things we don't normally touch upon in survival situations, survival scenarios, and other things that go on, end of the world stuff, prepper things. Well, let's talk about babies. Can you perform a C-section? Do you want to have children? Do you not want to have children? Are you going to have protection to keep from having children? Whether it be a prophylactic or something like that, or that includes you guys too. You don't want to have children. You and your spouse sit down and decide, we're not having kids. That's pretty much a guarantee. Everything else is never 100%, except abstinence. You know. Can you perform a C-section? Can you deal with your loved one having a child? Can you women deal with having a child and not having a doctor there? Do you have a doctor there? Will you have a doctor available if you have a group of people? Is one of them able to take care of you if complications happen? Okay. Remember, the child mortality rate was very high before we came along with incubators and clean facilities and all these things we learned. And if it hits the fan, a lot of that stuff's going to go right out the window. Okay? So what are you going to do for diapers? What are you going to do for food for the child? What are you going to do for clothing for the child? These are things to think about while you're prepping. Sit down with your family and decide, really like to have a kid in a few years. Well, maybe we ought to prep some in case something goes on. You know, finding out you want to have a child in a few years and putting back some things now wouldn't hurt a bit. Cloth diapers come to mind. Cloth diapers are wonderful. They can be used for other things after the child's gone. Matter of fact, my father still polishes one of his cars with my old cloth diapers. Those diapers are 46 years old. And he still polishes cars with them. They're nice and soft. They do a wonderful job. Now, of course, you could, since they're cotton, you could cut them up and use them for other things. You can make bandages out of them. You can make wadding out of them. You can do all kinds of different things out of char cloth. Anything you could use cotton for, you could use a cotton diaper for. Disposing of a plastic diaper, well, I don't know if you're going to bury it. The animals are going to dig it back up. You're going to burn it, put a big dark cloud up in the sky. I mean, there's a lot of problems with a plastic diaper. Well, those things we consider, and I want you to think about children. Will you have children? Will you not have children? Will your children have children? And what will they do? Now, teaching the children. Okay, now you need to teach that child. You decide you're going to have a child, and you're blessed, and everything went great. You had a wonderful child. Birth was easy. Everything was good. The child sleeps all night long. I'm trying to give you everything I can here. Yeah, everything's great and wonderful. You've got food for the child. You know, you take care of everything. It's all good. Now you've got to teach that child. That's right. Just because the end of the world happened doesn't mean that they need to be stupid. Reading, writing, arithmetic, those kind of things are going to continue on. We're going to need to be able to rebuild. We're going to need to be able to advance again and move forward. We need your child to do that. So you need to be able to train that child so that child's smart enough to do that. To read, to write, to understand, to be a functioning, well member of society. It falls on your responsibility. Like that, the big finger. Your responsibility to raise your child. Not mine. Not anybody else's. Not the community's. Your responsibility. It's your child. I know it takes a community to help establish a child and raise a child, but the majority of it is from the parents. So once we get past the having the baby or not having the baby, feeding the baby, clothing the baby, diapers for the baby starting to grow, well, will always be more food and clothing that you'll have to worry about, but education is the next step. Just a few words for thought and things to go out there for the prepper community. All right. I hope I've opened the door for you all. Now run with it. I'll catch y'all later.